What if I told you the most dangerous, career-ending, relationship-shattering audio leak of the year just dropped? That's right, Jim Jones. Yes, that Jim Jones was caught in the rawest, most venom-filled backstage explosion of his life. Forget reality TV edits, forget the glossy spin producers love to sell. This is uncut, uncensored fury caught by accident when the cameras stopped rolling but the microphone stayed hot, and the world was never supposed to hear it. But now, it's leaked. 14 seconds of rage already have Twitter on fire, but insiders swear there's nearly 5 minutes of audio where Jim rips Chrissy's brand new husband to shreds, mocking him, threatening him, and dropping hints about betrayals. So deep they could destroy Chrissy's marriage before it even begins. Imagine Jim pacing a dark hallway, his voice cracking with heartbreak before sharpening into pure venom. She married him, that clown, that background character trying to wear my crown. That's the line that started the storm. But the deeper leaks. They suggest Jim went further, exposing secrets about Chrissy's husband that the world was never meant to know. And here's the kicker. Fans are finding receipts. Blurry freeze frames, old burner account comments, whispers of hidden betrayals stretching back years. This isn't just messy, it's nuclear, so buckle in. Because once we dive into this audio, this chaos, it's betrayal, you'll never look at Jim, Chrissy, or her so-called husband the same way again. The internet had no idea what was about to hit them. Hours after Chrissy's shocking wedding, reveals shook the love and hip-hop universe. Fans thought the drama was over. Jim Jones walked off stage looking calm, almost too calm, and the cameras faded out. People assumed he swallowed his pride, let Chrissy move on, and that was that. But behind the scenes, in the shadows of that backstage hallway, the calm shattered into chaos. What nobody knew, what nobody was supposed to know, is that Jim's mic was still hot. The cameras may have stopped rolling, but the recording equipment never turned off. And now, that secret audio, the one VH1 executives swore would never see the light of day, has leaked. The clip begins quietly, almost hauntingly. You hear footsteps, Jim's boots dragging the floor, heavy and uneven. He mutters under his breath, words muffled at first like he's fighting with himself. And then his voice cracks open, loud, raw, furious. She really married him. That's the dude. That's who she chose over me. The heartbreak in his tone is undeniable, but within seconds it twists into venom. He calls Chrissy's husband a background character trying to wear my crown, mocking him as a man who built his image on brunch dates and borrowed swagger. That one line detonated online. Fans replayed it, looped it, slowed it down, and turned it into a meme within hours. But the truth, that was just the beginning. Insiders who've heard the full 5-minute recording claim Jim didn't stop at insults. He started dropping names, industry connections, whispered secrets, and hints about Chrissy's husband's past that nobody was ever supposed to piece together. Spin around, Jim growls in the leaked snippet. Always in the cut, waiting. On Me Too slip. And she let him close. She knew it. That's when Twitter turned into a war zone. Overnight, fans became detectives. They pulled freeze frames from old reunion episodes, zoomed in on blurry background figures, and posted side-by-side comparisons. One grainy shot from a 2014 taping showed a man in the audience who looked eerily similar to Chrissy's now husband. Another fan dug up a string of cryptic Instagram comments, fire emojis left years ago from burner accounts later linked back. To him, suddenly, the theory wasn't just that Chrissy had moved on. The theory was that this betrayal had been years in the making, and Jim had been played like a fool. But the audio kept spiraling darker. At one point, Jim's voice breaks, low and guttural. After everything I gave her, everything I built, she went and tied herself to him. That's what I'm worth. That's what loyalty gets me. The room goes silent. You can even hear crew members in the background whispering. One mutters, "Yo, is his mic still on?" And then Jim stops, pacing. There's a pause, a breath, and his voice drops into something colder, sharper. I know things about him. Things she don't know, things she don't want to know. That cliffhanger is what sent the internet into absolute meltdown. Blogs lit up with headlines. Jim Jones hints at dark secrets in leaked audio. Chrissy's marriage in trouble. Already. And backstage explosion could end love and hip-hop. Within hours, hashtags like #JimLeak and #ChrisSYSHusband were trending worldwide. TikTok edits spliced his words over slow, dramatic music. Twitter threads stretched into hundreds of posts, each one digging deeper into Chrissy's husband's past. And the reactions weren't limited to fans. Celebrities jumped into the fire too. Remy Ma tweeted, "Mike's always on. That's why I stay ready," leaving fans to wonder if she was shading Chrissy. Cardi B dropped a laughing emoji under a blog post about the leak. While 50 Cent, never one to miss, drama posted and deleted a meme about Jim auditioning for Love and Hip Hop. Heartbreak Edition. Even Fat Joe got cryptic on Instagram. Loyalty don't always pay, but betrayal never builds a future. Behind the scenes, VH1 executives scrambled into emergency meetings. Anonymous insiders claim producers were terrified. One exec allegedly said, "If that 5-minute audio drops, we're finished." It's not just TV drama's defamation. Another reportedly argued the opposite. This is ratings gold. The fans are doing all the work. Let the chaos burn. That's the dirty truth about reality TV. Sometimes the producers don't need to spin the story. The leaks do it for them. Meanwhile, Chrissy herself stayed silent. No lives, no interviews, no direct response. It's the only move she made. Unfollowing Jim on Instagram and posting a single photo of her wedding ring with the caption, "Solid wear. It matters." Fans couldn't decide if it was a clapback or a desperate front. Some praised her composure. Others accused her of gaslighting Jim while sitting on secrets of her own. And Chrissy's husband, furious, according to insiders. Sources say he stormed into producers' offices demanding damage control. But the truth is, the genie was already out of the bottle. The most chilling twist came from a second leak. A longer audio clip surfaced where Jim's voice turned lethal. "She think he can protect her? He can't even protect himself. I know where he's from. I know what he's done." Those words hit like a gunshot. Fans froze. Was Jim just lashing out in jealousy, or was he hinting at something darker? Something that could destroy Chrissy's marriage if the full truth came out. And just when the world thought the chaos couldn't get messier, a new receipt surfaced. An anonymous account dropped screenshots of old dim eyes allegedly between Chrissy and her no husband, dating back years. The messages were flirtatious, cryptic, and impossible to verify. But they were enough to convince half the internet that Jim's meltdown wasn't just heartbreak. It was exposure. By the end of the night, the narrative had shifted completely. Jim wasn't just the bitter ex. He was the man who knew too much. Chrissy wasn't just the bride moving on. She was the woman at the center of a betrayal possibly years in the making. And Chrissy's husband, he wasn't just a rebound, he was a mystery. With secrets Jim was threatening to drag into the light. And with that, the first chapter of this leak left the world hanging on a single, terrifying question. What exactly does Jim Jones know about Chrissy's new husband, and how far is he willing to go to expose it? The morning after the audio bombshell, the internet looked like a war zone. Twitter threads turned into novels. TikTok edits looped Jim's most venomous lines over cinematic beats. Blogs refreshed every 5 minutes with exclusive updates. And the conversation wasn't just about Chrissy's wedding anymore. It was about betrayal, power, and the dangerous secrets Jim hinted at. By sunrise, #JimLeak had already racked up millions of impressions, and Chrissy's new husband was trending higher than both of them. Fans weren't just clowning Jim, they were digging into the man who had suddenly become the most hated villain in hip-hop gossip. Detectives in comment sections went into overdrive. They froze old reunion episodes, zoomed in on background extras, and pulled out side profiles from paparazzi shots. And then came the smoking gun, or what fans swore was one. A blurry still frame from a 2015 Love and Hip Hop after-party surfaced. Chrissy stood front and center with Emily B., but way in the back, nearly cropped out, was a man in a crisp white button-up staring directly at her. The resemblance to her now husband was undeniable. Within minutes, fans circled the face, blasted it across Twitter, and birthed new hashtags. Hashtag he was always there and hashtag Chris SYS shadow. But the flames grew higher when a well-known gossip blog dropped what they claimed were DMs from a cousin of Jim's. The message was blunt. We all knew she stayed in contact with him. Jimmy just thought it was nothing. Guess not. That one leak flipped the narrative. Suddenly, Jim wasn't just bitter. Suddenly, fans believed maybe, just maybe, Chrissy had been plotting behind his back for years. And then chaos erupted again. A second audio clip leaked, longer, sharper, even more dangerous. This time, Jim's voice was steady, calculated, almost to calm. She'd think he can protect her. He can't even protect himself. Unaware. He's from, I know what he's done. He's playing with a man who got skeletons louder than mine. That line didn't just sting, it terrified. Fans froze. Comment sections exploded with theories. Was Jim exposing a criminal past? Was he threatening to unleash receipts that could destroy Chrissy's marriage before it even began? Insiders claiming to have heard the uncut 5-minute rant slid into DMs with more detail. One production assistant whispered to a gossip page, if VH1 ever aired that clip, lawsuits would fly. Jim wasn't just mad, he was making accusations. Real accusations. Stuff that makes Chrissy's husband look dirty. Stuff that makes Chrissy look complicit. At this point, the fandom split into armies. Hashtag Team Jim trended with fans, insisting Chrissy betrayed him, sneaking behind his back for years, with a man he once considered part of his own circle. They pointed to the freeze frames, the burner account fire emojis, and the eerie timeline overlap. Meanwhile, hashtag Team Chrissy supporters blasted Jim for being a bitter ex who couldn't handle rejection, accusing him of inventing lies to smear her happiness. And then there were the neutral fans, the ones who didn't care who was right or wrong, only that the drama kept escalating. They posted memes of popcorn buckets with captions like, Love and Hip Hop doesn't need writers anymore, these people, scripting themselves. But the circus didn't stop there. Celebrities joined the fray, and when they did, things got even messier. 50 Cent reposted a meme of Jim looking broken on stage with the caption, "This what happens when you play house. Too long, somebody else moves in." It racked up 500,000 likes before he deleted it. Remy Ma, during an IG Live, warned her fans, "Ladies, don't let no man waste your years, but also don't let your peace turn into payback. It's a dangerous game." Though she never named Chrissy, the internet knew exactly who she was talking about. Cardi B took a different route, tweeting, "Mic's always on. Y'all better whisper in sign language." Within minutes, her tweet hit 200,000 likes. Even Fat Joe, usually Switzerland in hip-hop drama, posted a cryptic story. Sometimes loyalty don't pay the bills, but betrayal don't build a future either. Every post, every subtweet, every emoji fueled the fire. Jim wasn't just fighting Chrissy anymore. He was fighting the narrative of his legacy. For over a decade, he and Chrissy were the blueprint of messy but real love on reality TV. Now, overnight, he looked abandoned, bitter, and broken, while she looked powerful but possibly manipulative. The blueprint had been shredded and replaced with something darker, a love triangle turned war that no producer could have written better. Behind closed doors, VH1 producers were spiraling. A leaked email chain screenshotted and sent to multiple blogs allegedly showed execs debating how to handle the fallout. One exec wrote, "This is dynamite. Ratings gold. But if the husband sues, we're toast." Another fired back, "We don't need to release the full clip. The fans are doing the work for us. The leaks are enough." That email alone sparked outrage, confirming what fans always suspected, that the network thrived off chaos, even if it destroyed lives in the process. But then, Jim himself escalated the chaos further. Late one night, he went live on Instagram. His face looked swollen, his eyes bloodshot, his voice cracked. "I wasn't perfect," he admitted, "but I was real." And she knows that. "What y'all hearing ain't for cameras." That's me realizing the person I trusted most already had a plan B. Maybe even a plan C. He leaned closer to the camera, his tone dropping lower, sharper, and tell him I know who he is. I know what he's done. I don't scared to talk about it. That 6-minute live detonated across the culture. Fans weren't laughing anymore. They were panicking. Because Jim wasn't just bitter, now he was threatening. Bloggers warned, "This isn't reality TV anymore. This feels personal. Dangerous. Personal." And then came the voicemail leak. An anonymous account posted what they claimed was a private message Jim left on a mutual friend's phone. In it, Jim's voice cracked under the weight of rage and heartbreak. "She was my life. I don't care about the cameras. I don't care about the memes. But you don't let another man wear your crown while you're still breathing. That's a violation." The message cut off abruptly, but its impact was nuclear. Fans dissected every syllable, debating whether it was poetic heartbreak or a veiled threat. Now, the storyline wasn't just messy, it was dangerous. Chrissy's silence grew louder, her husband's every move was scrutinized. And Jim? He was spiraling, his anger morphing into something that could no longer be brushed off as entertainment. By the end of the week, the drama hit its most shocking twist yet. Screenshots surfaced of alleged emails between Chrissy's husband and a well-known Atlanta promoter. The emails hinted at shady money transfers, unreported deals, and an ominous line: "Keep this quiet or Jimmy will know." Whether real or fabricated, the screenshots spread like wildfire. Within hours, #ReceiptGate was trending. Jim reposted one of the screenshots to his Instagram story with a single caption: "Told y'all." Nothing more. No denial, no clarification. Just those two words. And it sent shockwaves through the culture. Now, the internet wasn't just gossiping about a love triangle, they were demanding answers. Was Chrissy's husband hiding something? Criminal. Was this the bombshell Jim had been threatening to drop? And if it was true, how much did Chrissy know? By the time the dust settled, one truth was clear. The scandal had outgrown love and hip-hop. This wasn't just reality TV anymore. This was real-life betrayal, exposure, and danger unfolding in real time. And the cliffhanger hanging in the air was brutal. Would Jim Jones actually unleash the full truth and destroy Chrissy's marriage once and for all? By the time the third wave of leaks hit, the entire hip-hop world had turned into one giant investigation board. Memes were now mixed with receipts, blurry screenshots lined up against old timelines. And every fan turned into a private detective convinced they had cracked the case. What started as Jim Jones losing his temper backstage had evolved into a full-blown cultural crisis, dragging Chrissy, her husband, and the entire love and hip-hop legacy into the fire. And just when the internet thought they had reached peak chaos, the next set of leaks tore the whole story wide open. It began with a shaky cell phone video that surfaced late Friday night. The clip, allegedly filmed by a stagehand, showed the exact moment Jim stormed down the backstage hallway after Chrissy's wedding reveal. His voice echoed through the corridor. "Y'all think I'm crazy? He ain't clean. Ain't even built for this life. She tied herself to a fraud?" Then, faintly, another voice believed to be Chrissy's husband fired back. "She's my wife now. Respect it." that was all it took. Fans froze the video, slowed it down, captioned it, and spread it like wildfire. The confrontation that everyone speculated about was now on film, but the real bombshell came from a new audio leak and cut, nearly 4 minutes long. In this version, Jim's tone wasn't just angry, it was surgical, slicing into Chrissy's husband with words. That felt less like insults and more like revelations. "You've been running in my shadow for years. You ain't no savior, you're a stand-in, a rebound with receipts you can't afford to pay. And when the truth comes out, you gone. Wish you never stepped into my lane." That last line detonated across Twitter, sparking the hashtag #StandInHusband. Fans replayed it, slowed it down, even edited it over dramatic beats. Overnight, Chrissy's husband became not just a target, but the villain of the entire saga. Blogs wasted no time capitalizing. Headlines screamed across every gossip site. Jim Jones calls Chrissy's husband a fraud in new audio leak. #StandInHusband trends as fans demand receipts. VH1 meltdown. Producers scramble as audio goes viral. Theories spiraled into chaos. Was Chrissy's husband hiding a secret past? Did Jim have receipts tying him to street money or shady promoters? Was this the plan B Chrissy allegedly kept tucked away for years while Jim thought she was ride or die? Every unanswered question became gasoline, and the fire showed no signs of slowing down. Then, the most unexpected twist yet, an anonymous email was sent to multiple gossip outlets claiming to include proof of Chrissy's husband's shady dealings. Attached were screenshots of alleged financial transfers between him and a promoter with deep industry ties. One line in particular exploded across the internet: "Make sure Jimmy don't find out, keep this between us." Whether real or fabricated, it didn't matter. Fans believed it. Within hours, #ReceiptGate hit #1 worldwide. Jim himself fanned the flames further. He reposted one of the alleged receipts on his Instagram story with just 2 words: "Told." Y'all, that was it. No explanation, no denial. Just a digital mic drop that sent shockwaves across the culture. His silence. Meanwhile, Chrissy finally broke her silence. Instead of addressing the accusations directly, she posted a carefully staged photo, her hand flashing her wedding ring, champagne in the background, with the caption, "Solid where it matters." The internet erupted. Was this defiance? Was she standing by her husband no matter what dirt surfaced? Or was she dodging the truth with glossy photos and cryptic captions? Half the fans praised her composure, half dragged her for avoiding the storm. But one thing was clear: she wasn't walking away. Her husband, on the other hand, couldn't stay silent. Days later, he jumped on Instagram Live, visibly sweating under the pressure. "Look," he said, voice shaky but trying to sound tough, "I don't owe nobody no explanations. Jim had his chance. 15 years of it. She's my wife now. Period. Y'all can say whatever, but my life clean, my hands clean." At first, some fans clapped for him. But the longer the live went on, the worse it got. Nervous laughter. His defensive tone, his sudden decision to log off after just 6 minutes, all of it made him look guilty. Comment sections dragged him mercilessly. "If your hands clean, why you sweating bullets?" Jim got you shook, and you know it. His attempt to take control of the narrative backfired spectacularly. Now, the feud wasn't just messy, it was combustible. Reports surfaced of Jim and Chrissy's husband nearly running into each other at an Atlanta industry event. Paparazzi snapped photos of Jim entering the venue at 10 p.m. only to storm out 10 minutes later, face twisted in rage. One eyewitness swore Jim whispered to security, "If he steps to me tonight, cameras won't save him." Whether true or not, the quote spread like wildfire, sparking fears that this feud was about to spill from words into violence. And just when fans thought it couldn't get darker, another leak dropped. This time, it wasn't audio. It was a voicemail allegedly left by Jim on a mutual friend's phone. His voice cracked as he muttered, "You don't let another man wear your crown while you're still breathing. That's a violation." The clip, cut off abruptly, but its impact was devastating. Was Jim issuing a warning? Was this heartbreak? Or was it the prelude to something uglier? The cultural conversation shifted. Fans weren't just debating who was right or wrong, they were scared. Blogs began posting warnings that this wasn't just entertainment anymore, that the feud was spiraling into dangerous territory. And yet the hunger for receipts only grew. Then came the ultimate cliffhanger. Screenshots surfaced of emails allegedly linking Chrissy's husband to shady promoters and unreported money deals. The authenticity was questionable, but the timing was lethal. The emails included one chilling line, "Keep this quiet or Jimmy will know." The internet lost its mind. Fans didn't care if it was real, they believed it. And Jim's silent repost of the screenshot with the words, "Told y'all?" was the match that lit the final explosion. Suddenly, the narrative shifted entirely. It wasn't about Chrissy choosing another man. It wasn't about Jim being bitter. It was about whether Chrissy's husband was hiding a double life that could unravel everything she had just built. Fans demanded answers, and VH1 producers scrambled behind the scenes. According to insiders, emergency meetings were held to decide whether to air the footage or bury it forever. But the truth was clear. The story had already escaped their control. By the week's end, whispers grew louder. Insiders close to Jim claimed he was preparing to make a move that would end the conversation forever. Some said it was a diss track, some swore it was a press conference. And others claimed he was ready to leak even darker receipts tying Chrissy's husband to scandals that would shake the culture to its core. "He ain't gonna let this slide," one insider said. "And when he talks next, it won't just be shade. It'll be names, dates, and bodies." And that's where the story leaves us. Chrissy flashing her ring, standing tall in silence. Her husband sweating under accusations, insisting his life is clean. And Jim Jones furious, heartbroken. And dangerous, sitting on secrets that could blow the lid off everything. The cliffhanger is brutal. What is Chrissy's husband hiding? How much does Jim know? And when he finally decides to speak again, will he burn Chrissy's marriage to the ground? Because this isn't just love and hip-hop anymore. It's betrayal, rage, and exposure unfolding. In real time, the next leak could change everything. If you thought the drama couldn't get any deeper, let me tell you, it's only just beginning. Jim Jones hasn't even played his final card yet. Chrissy is still holding her silence like a weapon. Her husband's credibility is unraveling faster than anyone expected. And insiders are whispering that the next leak could shake the entire culture to its core. This is no longer just about a backstage blow-up. It's about betrayal, legacies, and dangerous secrets clawing their way into the light. So here's the truth. You cannot afford to miss what happens next. Imagine waking up tomorrow and seeing everyone on your timeline talking about the one revelation that finally ends this feud, and you didn't hear it first because you didn't subscribe. Don't let that be you. Right now, hit that subscribe button, smash the like, and turn on notifications because this story is moving fast. And when the next leak drops, you'll want to be front row. Drop your thoughts in the comments too. Are you siding with Jim, the wounded king, or Chrissy, the queen, standing in defiance? Or do you believe her husband is hiding something darker than anyone knows? Your voice matters here, and trust me, the debate is already on fire. This is the scandal of the year, maybe the decade, and if you're not locked in, you'll be left behind.